lot of success with that for a long time. I got into my chosen career. I rose steadily where my business cards kept having more and more important sounding titles to them. My income increased. I got married, 2 wonderful kids, a house, 2 cars. So from the outside in, it must have looked like this guy's got it all figured out. And I thought that I did, but I was puzzled that there was just this sort of maybe anxiety, just this murmur, this feeling like, well, maybe the next thing, the next job, the next vacation, the next car, the next whatever, will make it all lock in. And I think contentment is maybe the word that I'm looking for that I didn't know back then. I didn't know anything was off. I just thought this was how it was. But here's what I found out about those feelings. A couple of things. Number 1, I found out that we all have them. Number 2, I found out they're kind of like taxes. In that, we get the pleasure and joy of either dealing with them now or waiting and dealing them in the form of crippling balloon payments later. Without knowing I was choosing, I by an accident chose option B. In 2010, the tax collector came. Showed up first as a collapse of my mental and physical health and landed me in the hospital for a while. It was a pretty good sign to say, slow down and just maybe reassess things a little bit. But that wasn't my operating system. We remember what that was, right? Suck it up. So you just push right back into work. Did that. That's the good and noble and tough thing to keep going. But then the next message was when I learned that my wife of almost 12 years at that time had gotten involved in another relationship and we were headed for separation and divorce. Now as I was leaving, after months of trying to keep that together, leaving that house to move into my mother's house, coincided with the company that I had helped start and had worked in for the previous half-decade, dissolved itself, which is a sort of fancy and gentler way of saying I was just put out of a job at the same time that I was put out of a marriage and out of a house. And all of these boxes in like the checklist of how to do life right, I had them all checked. Kevin the husband, Kevin the homeowner, Kevin the business owner and manager, and all of a sudden, all fell down into a pile of ashes. And I only had one way to do life. I only had that one 3-word operating system. Suck it up. I didn't know anything else. But when I looked at the evidence of what I had wrought and thought about going forward, I literally asked myself, what the hell am I supposed to do now? So like Michelle, for a while I just kind of existed. Sometimes though, when you're treading water, that's just where you are in life, but you're still head above water and you're still getting stronger. And you start moving forward a little bit, and I started reading books and taking courses. I wanted to understand more about communication and my end of it, and all those kinds of things. But it was something much more pedestrian that finally cracked this sucker back open. I did what I think a lot of us do when we're not feeling good. We'd like to feel better. We want to maybe even have a good cry. Like when we force that on ourselves, or just feel good. I rented a movie. I'd rent movies that I thought would make myself feel good. Do we still rent movies? I streamed a movie. No, this was back a few years ago. So I did actually, I think I rented the thing. Try not to fall off the stage so I can finish the story. And it was a film that I'd never seen all the way through, not from start to finish. Probably in little 10-minute bits and pieces on late night TV, but never all the way through. It was the original Rocky film from 1976. Do you know what I mean? Rocky? Oh, Sylvester Stallone, the Italian stallion. Yo, Adrian. So, it's okay to laugh. I could stand up here and do Rocky for a couple, 2-3 minutes, you know? Cheap gags. He actually does have some speeches in there I like a lot. Now, when I look at it, I'm thinking, okay, this big, muscly, heavyweight boxer imposes his will on other people in a violent sport, goes through them for victory. And that looks a lot like Suck It Up. Maybe that wasn't the best model for me to be viewing at that time. However, there were a couple of things I noticed after watching that film. I should have maybe told Fiona this earlier. Maybe put me last because I'm going to invite people to leave the room. There's a spoiler alert coming up here. If anybody would like to step out. You've had 40 years to watch this film. Two things I noticed. Number one, at the end, Rocky, that original film from 1976, is viewed as one of the most inspirational entries in cinematic history. Some people weep with joy at the end, they're so inspired. I got to the end, I thought that was really interesting because, spoiler alert, Rocky doesn't win. He gets a chance at the heavyweight title of the world and he doesn't win at the end. And yet people are crying. This is so good. Did to me. But that was kind of interesting. Hold that thought. The other thing I actually didn't notice until I watched all of the sequels. They're up to roughly 22 or 3 of them now. There's a spin-off actually in theaters right now, Creed 2. In every single one of the Rocky movies, there's an animal. Does anybody know what it is? Turtles. Rocky has pet turtles. Apparently Sylvester Stallone still has the 2 animals that portrayed, I don't know if they're members of the Screen Actors Guild or not, but that played his pets in the original Rocky film. That's a clue. So I thought, can that be a coincidence? Why does he have pet turtles? So I did like what we did just a couple of minutes ago to start this visit with the Phoenix, but this time I asked Google, what does the turtle stand for? And then I immediately understood. I saw things like innocence, wisdom, perseverance, endurance, motherhood, so completely present at every single step of a really long journey that it literally carries its home on its back. Very few natural predators. And if you ever watch that film again, you'll see how innocent a character Rocky really is. I thought about that old fable of the tortoise and the hare. Rocky's the tortoise. It's the guy who fights the flash and dash that's all over the place like the hare. And yet we're all, certainly I was, trying to live like the first hare that will figure it out to go at Mach speed all the time without the engine blowing. And it doesn't work. But what about the fact that he doesn't win? And how does that relate to life? And I thought, it's not about winning. It's about living. And you can win. You can get the trophy, the ribbon. I have a lot of blue ones that say participant. But you can win without really feeling like you're living. Still feel kind of empty. But you can't really feel alive, like you're really living, without also feeling like you're winning. And it was because of that, that's when my operating system changed from suck it up when you hit the skids to rise like a phoenix. It's my choice what I see. Just take another look so I can get back to my wings, because they're always there, and yours are too. Rise like a phoenix and race like a turtle. Run your own race at your own pace. And since then, everything has changed for the better, and led me here with you tonight. I believe in it so much that I went and did exactly what they tell you at speaker school, which is to get a prop that's about 3 millimeters high. Would you in the back please describe what you see?
It's nice to keep
It's a turtle charm. Just a little turtle. And I put it out with my wallet and my keys every single night. And then I put it in my pocket every single morning to remind myself of what a more effective and fulfilling way is to just slow down and run my own race at my own pace. I brought more than enough that anybody would like to take a turtle home with you as a remembrance of the night and all of the company that we're sharing. Please come and see me before you go. Don't feel obligated, but if you want to toss one of these on your desk or your nightstand and help you slow down, love yourself a little bit more, please come see me, and I would love that. In closing, I would simply offer that, they say that life is short. And it is. It's short enough that we don't want to carry around the ashes any longer than we have to. Let go of the things that no longer serve our highest selves. But I also have found out life is long. It's long enough to learn. It's long enough to grow. Whatever it is that we're facing, quick, little, big, and life-changing, it is long enough to heal and get through those ashes and find your wings again. Thanks so much for coming tonight.